Christmas. Oh! Didn't see you there. I was just finishing up decorating this tree. Thanks for coming. I was having this little Christmas Eve party all on my lonesome. But that's okay, because Christmas isn't about who you're with. It's about... well, yeah, it's about who you're with. So I'm very glad that I'm with you now. Oh, you know who else is here? All these wonderful small musicians who kindly donated their music to this little project. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who made the backing tracks I'm talking to you over, and the songs that we'll be listening to in between. Fantastic job, all of you. My Christmas tree here is coming along nicely. Did you know that before 1605, trees were decorated outside with fruits and nuts once the leaves fell off? They did this in Germany to symbolize that spring will come. In 1605, someone brought a fir tree inside and decorated it, and this to Germans at the time was the greatest thing they had ever seen. Everyone got in on that action, and now here we are today. While I'm putting the last of my bulbs up, how about a little music? First off, we have Falling by MOAD,
performed by Abraham, all the way from Illinois. Just listen to that fireplace.
Do you know why fires crackle? It's because of residual moisture in the pores of the wood. During the combustion process, the water heats up and becomes steam, which makes a crackling sound as it releases. It's a chaotic concept, but it's very calming to listen to from afar. I hope you're all cuddled up in your blankets with your favorite holiday beverage. I sure am. I'm drinking hot chocolate. Who here is an eggnog fan? Anyone? If you happen to be enjoying a cup on December 24th, you get the added bonus of it being National Eggnog Day. Only for people in the US, I think. Sorry, everyone else. Did you know that eggnog dates back to the 13th century? It used to be a drink called posset and was primarily consumed by monks. It was rediscovered in the Americas in the 17 and 1800s, when it was even thought to treat malaria, for some reason, and it's been a popular staple ever since. George Washington himself was even said to have written his own eggnog recipe. I don't think I'll be trying it, as I'm not partial to eggnog, but I'll tell you what I am a fan of, our next song. This one is Counting Days by Wojtysz, from all the way out in the Czech Republic to your eardrums.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream, and that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time. That you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have.
You're so funny, Tommy Lee Jones. Always got the best jokes, this guy. Alright, man, thanks for stopping in. It's always great to see you. Drive safe. Do you ever wonder about who's getting their presents around the world right now? Santa obviously would have to stop in different time zones. How do you think they celebrate Christmas? Let's check the good old internet. According to http://whychristmas.com, in Estonia they celebrate with the famous blood sausage, which is made from blood, oats, and pork. Both Estonia and Latvia claim the first public Christmas tree was displayed there. I don't know who to believe. In Egypt, Christians only make up about 15% of the population, so it's not a widely celebrated holiday. Their Advent actually starts on November 25th and continues to January 6th, where they fast and eat a predominantly vegan diet. This is called the Holy Nativity Fast. They celebrate Christmas on January 7th. This part I'll read right from the website. People in Ghana celebrate Christmas from the 20th of December to the first week in January with lots of different activities. Over 66 languages are spoken in Ghana, and all these different language groups have their own traditions and customs. I didn't even know there were more than 66 languages still spoken today. I wonder if anyone in Ghana speaks all of them. That must be confusing. In Jamaica, they celebrate with a giant party called the Grand Market on Christmas Eve. Every town and city has an all-night market festival with partying, shopping, feasting, dressing up, and midnight mass. It really sounds like a good time. I like the spirit of togetherness as a community contrasted with how in the US we keep mostly to our own family. It's nice. I could sit here all night, but much like St. Nick, I've got a schedule to keep. Up next is Larry's Dream by the Rogonauts. Let's give it a whirl. So, what does everyone want for Christmas? Whatever it is, I hope you open it up tomorrow morning with a childlike sense of wonder and a smile on your face. I didn't really ask for much. I already have mostly everything I want, having my own money and all. Sometimes, I find the best gift to oneself is finding an appreciation for what you already have. Here's something you can think about on a bad day. If you can walk over to the faucet and get clean water, you're likely in the top 1% of all humans that have existed in the history of our world. A lot of people are feeling really rich right now. If you have a smartphone, that's godlike power to ancient peoples. A magical window possessing all knowledge, the ability to see or hear anything you want on a whim, is truly something to be thankful for. Sometimes, before bed, I turn off all the lights in my room and think about what a medieval peasant would think if he were standing there with me. Even with no lights, he would still be gobsmacked at the splendor of my 4 mundane walls. It would be the fanciest place he had ever seen. Even with my screens off, little specks of colored light sparkle from LEDs on power strips, computer speakers, chargers, things you don't notice until you're looking for little lights in the dark. Anyway, I hope this holiday season you take a moment to appreciate little things like that, and be glad you don't have to live in a stinky manure hut like the medieval peasants did. Sometimes a little perspective can do you wonders. The next song we have is from Inglis in San Francisco Bay. It's called In Winter. Here it is.
like hell it beat down and all summer long. Long days that heat up the night, cheating a good sleep. Sleep comes, is shallow and fragment, it does not satisfy. When summer's gone and winter will close our eyes and dream together and dream as one. Storm watch with thunder and lightning to each summer born. Born out of chaos and danger, stealing a good sleep. Sleeping is restless and ragged, does not satisfy. When summer's gone and winter will close our eyes and dream together and dream as one. We'll dream of a white Christmas morning. We'll dream of a carols in the air. We'll dream of it all in winter. Look out from the window and see the sunlight. Die there, slip into the shadows of a good sleep. Sleep comes, is sound and seductive, it does satisfy. And summer's gone and winter will close our eyes and dream together and dream as one. We'll dream of a white Christmas morning. We'll dream of the songs in the air. We'll dream
I'm really glad you showed up to my party. Even if you didn't bring an ugly sweater, the one you're wearing makes up for it. If I can be honest with you guys, I've been kinda down in the dumps lately. I was really looking forward to doing this interview with Santa, but then he told me he was just some guy who works at the mall and to get out of his house. I was really hoping to have a deep philosophical debate about the duality of mankind. Are there really only two lists? Is it so black and white? I always thought people and motivations were a lot more nuanced and complex than good and bad. I don't know if I still believe or not. How crazy would it be if he was real, though? And how is this concept so believable? Mrs. Claus makes a big deal out of keeping him fat, so he can squeeze down a chimney? How? I also find it strange that so many parents are fine with this old man who, mind you, sneaks into your house one night a year, not only watches their children while they sleep, but also telepathically has the knowledge that they're awake. How can he sense brainwaves of individual children to such an extensive degree? I wonder if adults are detectable by Santa. They should really expand upon that in the lore. Anyway, sorry to get so off track. I just get in the gutter sometimes when I get left behind by childhood heroes. Wait, do you hear that? It sounds like someone's on the roof.
Could it be? Is it really?
Oh, no. Just a home invasion. I better get the police because I'm a narc like that. While I'm busy with this, enjoy another one by MOAD. This one is Rain. So, I've told you all about what I'm doing this holiday, but I'm curious to know, what are you guys up to? I thought I'd ask a few friends what Christmas is like for them. Thanks for coming to the party, Marwar. What do you want for Christmas?
Not much. Maybe just a pasta maker so I can make fresh pasta. And ravioli.
Oh wow, that's a good idea. I love ravioli. I hope it makes the al dente perfecto, if that's how you say it. Another thing I'm wondering, what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie is probably definitely Elf with Will Ferrell. I find it very funny, and I just like how it was filmed in the streets of New York. Those people you see were not actors. They actually just filmed it as is, with people walking around. You could be in it.
Oh, for real? I didn't know that. I haven't seen it much, but after hearing that, I might have to check it out again. Wow. Thanks for coming, Marwar. I hope you get that pasta maker and have a happy holiday. How about you, Ollie? What's Christmas like at your house?
On Christmas, my family generally eats breakfast before we open any of the presents. That's kind of always been the rule. My dad passes out presents and we open them one at a time. You're able to open stockings before everyone's up, but we can't open presents until everyone's awake.
Aw, that sounds nice. I like the structure of it. Traditions like that are what make Christmas time magic. So, I myself am not really a fan of Christmas caroling, so I'd like to know, what are your thoughts on it?
I think Christmas caroling is super fun, and I really enjoy getting to go. I've done it a couple of times. However, I feel like it tends to work better if you do it in like a square or something as opposed to going over to people's houses, just because you can appreciate it if you're there versus it kind of being forced at you, if that makes any sense.
You know, now that I think about it, the public square would definitely get rid of the problems I have with it. Yeah, let's start up a choir now. Let's do it. Thank you for coming to the party, Ollie. Happy holidays! Alright, what's next? Oh, of course! Ladies and gentlemen, from all the way across the sea in the UK, this is Mountains by the Crimsons.
Build me a city, build me a town.
can I tell you my favorite World War I story? As we all know, in 1914, the trenches of World War I were ringing out with the sound of gunshots and bombs blasting apart across no man's land. Men and boys died fighting for their respective nations in horrible trenches filled with rats and gunk and yuck. It was a bad time for everyone. On December 7th that year, Pope Benedict XV suggested that both sides briefly stop the fighting to celebrate Christmas, as human men ought to. The countries at war, unfortunately, said no. So the fighting continued. Rifles were ejecting malicious shells with each crackling explosion. The air was thick with the smoke of guns and spent rounds from classical weapons such as the Winchester M1897 trench gun. This continued to Christmas Eve when the song of the flying bullets was interrupted by a song of Christmas. On Christmas Eve of 1914, British and German troops alike were singing Christmas carols to their enemies across the way. Their pipes joyously called out across the devastated no man's land to bring a little Christmas cheer to the hearts of those that endangered them the most, indiscriminately. Then, as the story goes, on Christmas Day at first light, a few German soldiers climbed up out of the trenches and began walking across no man's land. They called out, in English to the British troops, "Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!" Now, the British could have very easily gunned them down right there. That's why it's called no man's land. But I think a great miracle of this high-strung wartime was that they didn't. The Germans were unarmed, and their gesture was genuine. The British, too, climbed out of the trenches and met them on the battlefield. They shook hands, and though it was unofficial, there was a Christmas ceasefire in 1914. On that day, there was no fighting between the sides. However uneasy it may have been to them, the mortal enemies were united as friends for a brief few hours under the common ground in their spirits. They exchanged gifts with one another. They sang songs. Some say they played a game of soccer against each other. Unfortunately, the next day they went back to fighting, but what are you gonna do? You can't have it all. I think they knew that. This is one of my favorite stories of all time, actually. I like it because it sounds improbable, but like the best stories is very true. It goes to show that even if history doesn't show it, humanity is durable and stronger than any instrument of war. That something like Christmas is enough to make men fighting for their lives lay down their weapons and embrace their enemies not as targets, but as fellow humans, playing their roles in a larger game. It makes me think, maybe the true meaning of Christmas isn't presents or holiday cheer. Maybe it isn't even spending time with your family or loved ones. Maybe it's not even what any of us like to think it is. Maybe it's just being able to say, what the hell, it's Christmas. Thank you so much for coming out to my little party tonight. I had a blast, I really did. It warms my heart to see you show up for this little bit of Christmas cheer. Maybe you did it because you submitted something to this project. Maybe you did it because you needed a little Christmas company. Or maybe you did it just for me. Whatever it is, thank you. Sincerely, I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any of them. Best wishes out to you and your loved ones this holiday season. Stay safe, stay warm, keep it real. Of course, we still have the credits left. You know I couldn't forget.